Hello dear students, in this subject hydraulic engineering. Today we'll start a new chapter, that is open channel flow. In this chapter we'll discuss the channel characteristics and parameters, uniform flow, critical flow, specific energy concepts, gradually varied flow, rapidly varied flow with special reference to hydraulic jump. What is open channel flow? Open channel, open means it is open to atmosphere. Means the pressure is atmospheric and the flow occur due to gravity only. Whereas in case of pipe flow, the flow occur due to pressure. Although the pipe, if it is not full, okay, if it is not full, in that case, if it's not full, then what happen? In that case, here this is the pipe cross section, okay. If it's not full, then we can also say it is also open channel flow because here pressure is atmospheric. If it is not full, okay. So all the rivers what we are seeing in natural rivers, streams, canals, okay, drains which are open to atmosphere, that is called open channel flow, and also the pipe which is not full with liquid, that is also called open channel flow because pressure is here gravity, means pressure is atmospheric and flow occur due to gravity. That's called open channel flow. Next is prismatic channel, the channel in which the shapes, means the geometry of the channel, like this side slope, longitudinal slope, or that is called bottom slope, okay, the side slopes, the bottom width, the top width, everything remains constant along the length of the channel. That's called prismatic channel. Means the channel in which the geometry of the channel remains constant. Okay, so this is possible in case of only man-made channel. In the case of natural channel like streams or rivers, that changes, means the geometry changes. You cannot keep geometry constant along the length of the channel. So only man-made channels like canal, irrigation canals, drains, that's called prismatic channel. Natural channels are always non-prismatic. Rigid boundary means the boundary, means the side banks, the bottom portion, the side banks. These boundaries, okay, are not deformable, means rigid. So in the sense that the shape, area, roughness coefficient not function of the flow parameters. Means if you change the flow, means the discharge if you change, either a decrease or increase, okay, it will not affect this shape, okay, this geometry and the roughness coefficient, it will not affect. Means there will be no erosion, no sedimentation. If there will be no erosion and sedimentation, then only the area will change, means the geometry will change. So there will be no deformation, so geometry will remain constant. So the channel in which the boundaries are not deformable are called rigid boundary channel. For an example, line canal or line channel, that is irrigation canals, okay. If it is made of concrete canals, concrete or brick lining or stone lining, this type of channels, okay, there is no erosion and no sedimentation. If there will be erosion, there will be sedimentation. Okay, so the boundary are not deformable. So in this type of channel are called, this type of channel is called rigid boundary channel. Even some online canals means that stone, if you compact it properly, the stone channels, earthen channels, if you compact it properly, it's not irritable. Okay, pebbles here, if you have kept pebbles here in both sides, so that is not irritable. That is also you can say rigid boundary channel. Next is mobile boundary channel. Just opposite, it's like natural channels. This it is always these check banks and the bottom portion is always susceptible to this deformation. Means always undergo deformation. If you change the discharge, if you increase the discharge, there will be erosion. If you decrease the discharge, there will be deposition, like this. So if the boundaries are not rigid, means deformation undergo due to continuous process of this erosion and deposition, that is called mobile boundary channel. The flow resistance, sediment quantity, channel geometry all depends upon the interaction of the flow with the channel boundaries. Means if you increase or decrease the discharge, then your this sediment quantity, channel geometry will change. Flow resistance, everything will change. That's called this boundary, this channel is called mobile boundary channel. Overall open channel flow we can classify into steady and non-steady. Steady means the velocity or depth remains constant with respect to the time. If now you are measuring it is 2 meters per second, after half an hour if you measure 2 meters per second, after 1 hour you measure the same 2 meters per second, it is not changing with respect to time, then you can say that flow is a steady flow. Unsteady flow means it is changing. If it's 2 meters per second now, it is 2-3 meters per second after 1 hour. After 3 hours it is, after 2 hours it is 1 meter per second. So it is changing. Okay, if it's changing, then it is called unsteady flow. This steady flow, it also can be uniform, it can be non-uniform. Non-uniform is classified into 3 types. One is gradually varied. Okay, gradually varied means the variation is gradual. Rapidly means the variation is rapidly. Means the change in depth or change in velocity occurs rapidly. Okay, along the length of the channel. Spatial varied flow means if the flow is taken out of the system, taken into the system. Okay, this is your channel. Okay, this is the channel. This is one section. This is one section. Between these two sections, if you are taking out of this system some discharge, you are taking some. You are adding. Okay, okay. If you are doing this, then this type of channel is called spatially varied channel. From this section to this section. Uniform flow. Uniform means over the space, over this length of the channel, the flow parameters like depth and velocity remains constant. In unsteady flow, it is in non-uniform, or it will be non-uniform flow. That can be gradually varied flow, rapidly varied flow, spatially varied flow. We know steady and unsteady flow that I told that flow properties such as flow depth, discharge at a section does not change with time is called steady flow. Otherwise, it is called unsteady flow. If the flow properties remains constant along the length of the channel, the flow is called uniform, or otherwise it is called non-uniform flow. Like this. Here, the flow is means if there is flood, then excess water you can remove either through this bottom of the sluice gate or through the spillway, above the spillway. This is the dam portion. This is the spillway portion of the dam. Okay. During flood, you can remove the excess flood over the spillway or through the sluice gate. Usually, first this is preferred, means this sluice gate you have to open. If after opening all the sluice gate, again the water level is increasing here, then you have to go through. You have to open this crest gate. This is called crest gate. Okay, this spillway, over the spillway you can supply you can remove the water. So here below this sluice gate, there will be sudden change in depth over the small length. Over the small length of the river, there will be sudden change in depth, which is called rapidly varied flow. After that, there will be gradual variation of the flow depth. That is called gradual varied flow. After that, there will be uniform, means after this length, there will be the depth will remain constant. That is called uniform flow. Due to this dam, due to this spillway, due to this reservoir, there will be reservoir and there will be sudden increase of flow depth. Sudden increase of flow depth, that is called RVF. After that, there will be gradual varied flow till this spillway. After spillway, what will happen? Okay, the flow will occur from this to here. This downstream of the river means here high potential energy. Here it will convert into kinetic energy. Here velocity will be very high, so it will cause a hydraulic jump. So here hump is provided to create this hydraulic jump. Okay, so that is to stop this erosion here. If there will be high velocity, so there might be here erosion. So to stop that erosion, one hump is provided, that is okay. That is called energy dissipator. That is called, it's like this, energy dissipator. It is provided. So here there will be hydraulic jump. The flow will be like this. So there will be from here to here, there will be also sudden change in the flow depth. That is called rapidly varied flow. That is called this is hydraulic jump. This is called this structure. It is provided with this dam, that is called energy dissipator, just to kill the energy of the flow. So this is GVF and RVF, means if the flow changes gradually in a varied flow, the flow is called gradual varied flow. This is called backwater curve. The water profile curve behind the dam, behind the hydraulic structure, okay, that is called backwater curve. There will be gradual change of depth. Rapidly varied flow, if the flow changes suddenly over a short length, there is flow change suddenly, then that is called RVF, or rapidly varied flow. For an example, hydraulic jump below spillway or sluice gate, like here and here. So this is called rapidly varied flow. Spatially varied flow, as telling this varied flow, okay, the discharge is external taken out of the system, that is called standard, that is called spatially varied flow. It is taken out of the system, or you can take added to the system, okay, taken out of the system, or the discharge added to the system is called spatially varied flow. Velocity profile. When the depth of flow, this is the depth of flow, this is the channel, this is the bottom bed of the channel. If the depth of the flow is less than 3 meters, the velocity is measured at 0.6 times depth from the water surface, which is called single point measurement. Only at what point, one point, let it, this is the depth, which is 0.6 times depth. At one point only, here it is measured, the velocity is measured. The velocity profile curve is like this, it is parabolic curve. It is parabolic. So this is called single point measurement. If the depth of flow is more than 3 meters, the velocity is measured at 0.2 times depth and 0.8 times depth. The average of these two velocity, this velocity, okay, that will give the mean velocity over the depth of the flow depth. Okay, so if depth is less than 3 meters, then average velocity is the velocity measured at 0.6 times depth. If depth is more than 3 meters, then average of this 0.2 times velocity at 0.2 times and zero velocity at 0.8 times depth. Okay. If you know the surface velocity, you can measure the velocity here at the surface. Then the average velocity is taken as k into v into s, v suffix s, that is surface velocity. K is the coefficient which is multiplied, because average velocity, surface velocity is different. The surface velocity is little less than this average velocity. Usually it is varies from 0.8 to 0.9. Okay, and that depends upon this. K depends upon the aspect ratio. Aspect ratio means depth by width. Depth width ratio. If large width river, like this is the river, large width, but depth is small, shallow depth, then here in this case, then it's not considered, means here it will be maximum velocity you can consider. The maximum velocity will be here. If the width is less, depth is more, then the surface velocity will be less than the maximum velocity. Okay, coming to this equation of continuity, that is the conservation of mass for steady flow. As I told that it does not change with respect to time. The total mass per rate, then the rate of mass, that remains constant. So means m1 by t equal to m2 by t. Mass of flow per unit time remains constant. This m1 I can write, okay, m1 by t I can write rho 1 into q1. Rho is the velocity, mass per volume, q is the volume per unit time, which will give you the mass per unit time. So rho 1 q1 is equal to rho 2 q2, and q1 you know discharge, which is the velocity into area. So rho 1 v1 n1 equal to a2 rho 2 v2 a2. For incompressible fluid, usually the fluid means the water. If you water will consider, then usually it's near to incompressible. You can say it's it might be not be fully incompressible, but we assume that density remains constant. When we are considering analyzing the flow, we'll assume that velocity, the density remains constant, even if there is a change in temperature. So if you consider this rho 1 is equal to rho 2, then a1 v1 will be equal to a2 v2. This is the continuity equation for a steady flow. However, for unsteady flow, let this is the channel, this is the water surface, at a time this is the water level, at time after time delta t, this is the water level, this is the new water level here. The Q1 entering into the system, it is Q2 leaving from the system. Delta x is the length of the channel. So here I can write Q1 minus Q2 minus Q1 means net flow volume here. Means net discharge here Q2 minus Q1, can write del Q by del x plus into delta x. Means if you take change in discharge del Q over length del x, then for delta x length you can write del q by del x into delta x. So we assume that Q2 is more than Q1. So excess volume rate of flow in time delta t. In time delta t, okay, for delta t time it will be del q by del x into delta x into delta t. So for unit time it is this del q by del x into delta x. So if you consider del t, which is after this is a change in time, okay. So for delta t it will be del q by del x into delta x into delta t. Rate of decrease of storage from this Q1, okay, since we have assumed Q2 is more than Q1, so more what is leaving and less what is in joining. So here rate of decrease of storage will be minus delta x. You can say this delta x, the change in decrease is minus, so delta x into area, that is del A, okay, by del T. This I can write del A by del Y into del Y by del T. So del A into delta x, that is the volume, and per unit time, that is the rate of change of the storage. So this I can write, this del A by del Y is called top width, this top width. The top width always del A by del Y. Okay, for unsteady flow, since it is changing, okay, top width is del A by del Y. So here it will be minus t delta x into del y by delta t, del t. So the decrease in storage in time delta t. So for unit time it is, okay, for delta t time it will be minus t delta x into del y by del t into delta t. So this equation and this equation is same. Means excess volume rate flow, that is we calculate from discharge, here we calculate the volume. This equation is nothing but this equation, which you can write del q by del x, because continuity equation here is putting, okay, del q by del x into delta x into delta t is equal to minus t delta x into del y by del t into delta t. So this equation, if we simplify, we'll get del q by del x plus t del y by del t is equal to 0, which is called Saint-Venant equation of continuity. Del q by del x plus t del y by del t is equal to 0. But t is the top width, q is the discharge, y is the flow depth, t is time, x is the length of the channel. Okay. Next is energy equation. As I told that the pressure is atmospheric. So as in pipe flow, we are using this Bernoulli's equation, that is P by rho g plus v square by 2g plus z is constant. But here that P by rho g is atmospheric pressure, which is not considered here. So here for 1D steady open channel flow, the energy equation form of Bernoulli's equation is this. So here it will be, there will be no P by rho g, there is 0, only v square by 2g plus z. So here this is the section 1, this is the section 2. Here z1, z2, it is the datum head, and this is the flow depth y1, flow depth y2, and this perpendicular depth. So this the vertical depth will be y1 cos theta, this is theta, here it will be y2 cos theta. The velocity head, that is the kinetic head, that is the, here that will be alpha v1 square by 2g, or here it will be alpha v2 square by 2g. What is alpha, that I will discuss okay, after this. So this is the total head, So at section 1 it will be H1 will be Z1 plus Y1 cos theta plus alpha V1 square by 2g. Here it will be Z2 plus Y2 cos theta plus alpha 2 V square by 2g, V2 square by 2g. Since theta is small, over the length of the channel inlets for a river, this theta will not be visible. It is very small. That's why the cos theta we can take 1. So since theta we neglect means theta is 0 and cos theta is 1. So H is equal to Hz plus Y cos theta plus alpha V square by 2g. This is the kinetic head. This 2 is the potential head. This is the datum head. This is the flow depth. So okay, this we should write Z plus Y plus alpha V square by 2g. Okay, here what is alpha? Alpha is called kinetic energy correction factor. There is two kinetic energy, correction factor in this open channel. One is called momentum correction factor, another is kinetic energy correction factor. Why this correction is used, this alpha is used, because whatever the kinetic energy that we are calculating, okay, theoretically we are calculating, that is average velocity. Whatever average velocity B1, B2, that is the average velocity at section 1 and section 2. So the actual velocity is different from the average velocity. That's why this correction factor, both kinetic energy and momentum correction factor, is used. The alpha is nothing but the ratio of the kinetic energy of the flow per second based on actual velocity across a section, divided by the kinetic energy flow per second based on the average velocity across the section. Actual velocity is little different from the average velocity. Therefore, this after derivation, okay, derivation is not required here. Only directly I am coming to this formula. There is alpha equal to integration of B cube dA divided by V cube A. What is B? This capital B is the average or mean velocity over the cross-sectional area. Over the cross-sectional area. Here this is the depth, okay. This is the profile. Over this here to here, over this cross-sectional area, the average or mean velocity is 1 by a integration of a B dA, whereas the small b is the actual velocity at a particular point, in the section. So integration of B cube dA, B cube A. So if we know the velocity, form of velocity with respect to area, cross-sectional area, we can calculate this alpha. Next is a momentum correction factor. Similarly, momentum is ratio of momentum of flow per second based on the actual velocity across a section divided by momentum of the flow per second based on the average velocity across the same section. Directly formula I am writing, that is integration of B square dA divided by B square A. Okay. For different flow like laminar and turbulent, we know laminar flow. Laminar flow means the flow layers remains parallel to each other. In turbulent flow, there will be zigzag flow, random motion of the fluid particles. That is called turbulent flow. Okay. Laminar flow, usually in case of this open channel, if R, there is Reynolds number, okay, if it is less than 500, in case of laminar flow. In case of turbulent flow, it is 500 to, it is more than 2000. It is more than 2000. Here it is less than 500. When this Reynolds number is between 500 to 2000, either the flow is changing from laminar to turbulent or from turbulent to laminar. Okay, whatever this is the classification of flow, laminar or turbulent. For the laminar flow, this alpha, usually it is experimented that the value is nearly 2 and beta is 1.33. Turbulent flow, the kinetic energy correction factor varies from 1.04 to 1.11. Beta, that is momentum correction factor, is varies from 1.01 to 1.04. See, usually for the to simplify in the calculation in the analysis of the flow, here, okay, the total energy head usually considered as Z plus Y plus v square by 2g. Alpha is approximately 1, which is taken. 1 is taken. Usually on steady flow we are dealing, in unsteady flow there is least chance that is the flow is laminar, turbulent flow is turbulent. So here it is nearly 1. That's why alpha is always considered 1 to simplify the analysis. That's why the this you can write that total energy head is datum head z plus flow depth y plus v square by 2g. Okay, this much. Thank you. Next class we'll discuss specific energy. Thank you so much.